Hello. In this guide I will explain how to migrate your Portfolio Slicer 1.0x version to Portfolio Slicer version 2.0x version. This guide already assumes that you installed Portfolio Slicer into the folder OneDrive Portfolio Slicer migration. And here we have an old version, so it's a copy of the old version of Portfolio Slicer. I call it Portfolio Slicer Old. And this is our empty Portfolio Slicer version 2 Excel workbook. So the first thing what you want to do is go to Portfolio Slicer website, go to my data link where it is, and visit your old Portfolio Slicer website. So here you will go into workbook list, we'll do the migration for this workbook, and when you click edit next to this workbook, you go to the very bottom of the page. You will see migration to version 2 data. This is a new information that was added just recently to help you migrate to new Portfolio Slicer version. So what you do is you go down there through the data till you find the first line, psconfig.txt. Next line will be the first line for the file Portfolio Slicer for file psconfig.txt. So you copy all that information, you go down to basically very last, you just leave without copying very last file. So you copy that information. This is your configuration file configured specifically for you. So we do the copy here, and we go to now back to where we set up our new Portfolio Slicer. We go to script folders, we go to psconfig file here. So we open that one, we delete everything what was there, and we do Ctrl V, so that's information, everything that we copied from that file, and we click file and save. So we save this file. So as you noticed, this workbook where it started here, psconfig where it starts up to the very end except last line, this is your configuration file. It's actually configured for you. It tells you what symbols you're using, where the symbol should be looked up from. It tells you your minimum date and all of that information. So that's it. That's how you created your configuration file. And after you've done that, you confirm that your C Portfolio Slicer PS Data subfolder is empty, as it should be, and you go back and you simply run update PS Data. So this will start the batch job that will now extract all data about all your symbols. Will extract all your quotes. That's all it is. You just have to wait till it completes. It's gonna take some time, probably a couple minutes here, and you will notice that the quotes start to appear here. So all the quotes are extracted, and now you have a local version of the quotes on your machine, and this is permanent location. Every time now, next time you run the script, it will go back to this location, check what quotes you have up to what date for this specific symbol, and then go back and from the website request just a difference in quotes, what is missing still. So let's wait till it completes. You expect to see the green line. The green line, it's a check. The very last script that this batch runs is to make sure that the files which were created are as expected. It says P files generated, and you go now into the subfolder C Portfolio Slicer PS Data, and these 4 files now has all the data necessary for your Portfolio Slicer to work. So that's external data files were created. The next step, what you should do is go back to the very top of this area, migration to version 2, and select from the very top the data here. So go up to this psconfig up to here and put it in a clipboard. So you selected everything up to psconfig file, and then you start Excel, just empty, and paste everything into Excel. Paste as text. So you pasted all of this data, and it's still selected. Notice that you have a selection, so all of these lines. So what you want to do is you want to now convert all the comma separated values into Excel tables. So you simply go to data, you choose an option text to columns, delimited, next, and click here comma and click finished. So what happens now is that everything what is comma separated now is actually as a table. So it's going to be very easy for you now to copy all that data from this Excel workbook to your other Excel workbook. So let's go and first copy all the data from here into the new Excel workbook. So what we do is go Excel and we open our this empty workbook. So this is an empty workbook, and then let's start copying the data which we just extracted. So first table is table config. We copy these files, Control C, go back here, and we do Control V. So all the data is here. Now the next table which we had here is table currency. We select these two columns, Control C, we go back here and we report currency, and it's Control V. So Canadian is the first one, is the primary, USD is the secondary. Okay. Let's go next, and third table is allocation. So it didn't properly separate it here, so we have to sometimes adjust something. So we'll do this one, cash, Control C. Sometimes you have to do adjustments, so you watch what you're copying. This is allocation. We leave basically here, and we copied all the data. So cash, Canadian, all of that information now is copied. Go back to the next table, symbol. So that's a big table. We select all rows up to, so from the next line will be first line, up to previous line was the last line. So again, Control C. We go back to portfolio slicer, symbol table, and just to confirm, this table has GSPC, all these symbols. So it doesn't have a cache, so we don't touch the first line. Starting from the second line, we simply do Control V. Okay, so we have if we're reviewing every time we do, and we see the symbol here as VDAS, we'll simply update the currency here because it's not important in our case. It's just a demo information, but all that information what we copied, it's right here. We can choose formatting of this as well, change, so we can change to %, and we can increase a bit to see the proper number. So this is percentage we see right now as the data. So symbols, all information for you is now right there. We go back to the book. So symbols we created now is the symbol sector. Again, we have a cache. We go down, there is a lot of rows. We select Control C. We go back here and we go to top, and we find the symbol sector table. It's right here. We do Control V. Again, Control copy. Sorry, I didn't something, and then Control V. So here goes, all our information is specified. Again, some formatting may be lost, so what we do is we simply go back and say %, and we can have a percentage value if you want here. So we copied all of that information. The last table which we have here is our alias table. So this is going to be additional alias table which we need. So we say it's we'll have to copy other records if they were in old workbook as well. So this is additional alias. So let's go back to the top again and see symbol alias table, and we're putting a record here. So C, it's converted to NYC. This is due to the fact that NYC, this comes from the Google Web from the Google Finance instead of Yahoo Finance website. So we have to add the symbol alias. So all that information, as you see, we quickly just copied from one from worksheet that was available for you. It substantially, it speeds up your migration by really a lot. So the next step is we can now close this old workbook. It's not we don't need it anymore. Now start and open old workbook. So this is was our old workbook. Open workbook, browse, and this was in OneDrive, portfolio size or migration. So PS Alt. So this is a workbook which we want to open. Again, it's a copy of the workbook. And from here we want to copy this table first of all, so account table. So we just selecting these records. We're making sure there is no conditional formatting here. So manager rules is empty. So we're selecting these records. We clicking Control C, going back to portfolio slicer. We're finding where the accounts table is, and we pasting Control V. That's it. So we have all the accounts are copied. And one more table which we want to copy from the old one, transactions. So before we copy transactions table, very important, remove all conditional formatting. So manage rules, let's go delete rule, delete, all the rules should be deleted. We don't want to move this conditional formatting to there. We also want to remove all the filters. So we added filters, we make sure there are no other filters on any of the columns. So we're making sure here, sorry, I want to make sure that it fits here into our here. So no filters anywhere, we check that. And now when we copy, we do not copy the very first record. We can again sort all this to newest, so we order. So the first record with the system and transaction subtype, we don't want this record. So we go and starting copy from here, and we go up to column O. So we don't include everything, and then we go down to include all the records. So the last record, we do Control C. We go now to our existing transaction here. We leave first record as it is, we don't want to touch it. We start from the second record here, select the cell A3, and we do Control V table, insert this. Okay, we let it do that. We confirming everything is inserted here. It's all good. Here we simply use our account. We change account to something that exists here, and we know that the minimum date in our transaction, minimum date 2008-11. So we're gonna use 2008-01-01. So that's it. We migrated everything. We're making sure now there are no red cells, so everything is appears to be as it is. If you remember, we had to add one additional alias for symbol. So it was a symbol alias C. So what happens here, we have a symbol here, which is C symbol, right? So this one. So if we would not have the alias added here, we would have to replace symbol name everywhere. Instead of C, to have a NY as E column C. Okay, so that's what alias is for here. It was added because of the remapping some changes. So if you know what aliases are for, you will understand why we did it. So after making sure that all the data, there are no red cells here, the data is okay, we save this file just to make sure okay, and we're ready now to refresh. So we go to the holdings tab or any tab, go to the data and choose refresh all. And now the refresh process will start. What you should be aware is that you will probably get error messages during the first refresh attempt. Okay, so you have to just ignore them and just go ahead and keep refreshing. It's just the way the data is loaded, the order of the data is loading. It might load first the external files, then it's loading some internal link tables. And it is quite possible that during the first attempt of the refresh, not all data inside of the Excel workbook or inside of Power Pivot data model is aligned. So what you have to do is just go through the first iteration of refresh, and when you're gonna get error messages, then keep clicking OK till you actually be able to get some results. So this is the kind of a now multiple iterations happening. So this is the first iterations. We start going through some pause and processing data. You'll see the message again. Let's wait till it happens. Just a few seconds, and you might, there are no guarantees, depending on the workbook, you might get error message. It's gonna be something multiple values in equity data. So let's wait. Yeah. So the error is calculation error, measure equity value, table of multiple values supplied where a single value was expecting. So just, you'll get multiple messages like this, just click through, and let's go through. So this is gonna be our first attempt to refresh. Let's wait until it completes, and then we'll have to do another refresh attempt. Again, you might get some error messages even during another attempt refresh, but this is kind of just plowing through and loading all data in data model. So the first iteration is done. We're clicking again, refresh all again. Let's see what's going to happen now. So this is the second refresh request. As I said, each request has an internal sequence of refreshes, and this internal sequence has some impact. So you might have loaded account table but haven't, or you might load a transaction data but there is no account table, which makes our calculations, internal calculations in the Power Pivot model invalid. So let's keep doing this. Just a couple attempts. So what we want to make, what we want to reach there, we want to make sure that we have a data in the report. So the report will start to look reasonable, and after it's reasonable, you start to see the data. The next refresh after that should be okay. You'll stop getting any error messages. So let's wait. It's still refreshing. It's still processing data. So there is some delays in between the messages. Hopefully now we'll stop getting these pop-up messages. The data will go through. So don't get scared for the first set of error messages. It's looking better now, I think. So okay. I don't want to pause the video. I'm still gonna keep it running. So I want to make sure you get a feeling how long the process can take. It's not an instantaneous response. It takes 40 seconds, 60. So as you see, we got some data back. So this is that means we went through the refresh. It's still refreshing. So one more time, and then you should trust me. After this, you can do the refresh all again, and then all the data will be inside of the workbox. So, and there will be no error messages after refresh because your data is aligned. So let's finish just it waiting. So you can, this is a holdings reports which tells you all the holdings, and it's now in a new Excel workbook. We can just quickly go into the dashboard to make sure the dashboard is working. So we'll go dashboard, and that's updated dashboard. And now you migrated to the new version. Make sure you save it, and you are ready to use Portfolio Slicer version 2.0. Thank you. Bye.